Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and I have one more part of the Louis Gohmert thing that I'm going to put up sometime on Monday. I don't know when it's going to actually get out, but I just wasn't up to doing all the research I needed to do today. And I've been trying to keep ahead of everything that's going on, but I'm failing miserably. But I'm trying on that, and I will tell you a little bit about that in just a minute. But anyway, I came across this series of tweets here that I thought maybe you'd be interested in. Now, this Chad Pergram is a Fox News guy, and let me bring it up here. And he tends to focus mostly on Congress. That's kind of his specialty. So he is a blue check guy, which means he's definitely a verified account. So he starts out and he says, Fox is told that House Democrats have a pre-scheduled conference call at noon Eastern Time. The call was on the books before the shootings this weekend. I find that very odd. Just saying. One senior source tells Fox that call could determine whether Democratic leaders recall the House to work on gun-related legislation. Yeah, they're on recess right now, but they can be recalled. There are several pieces of legislation which could be in the works on firearms. Fox is told the Disarm Hate Act is ready to go. It bars people convicted of a hate crime from having firearms. I think that's a little disturbing because, you see, it doesn't take much for them to claim somebody's guilty of a hate crime. I mean, you just say something they don't like and they could say, oh no, that's a hate crime, and then you're in trouble. And you will not be able to own a firearm. So I think that's a very disturbing thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on. On gun legislation, Fox is told there's still work to do on extreme risk protection orders and dealing with other red flag problems which could prevent someone with mental health issues from having access to weapons. Okay, now here's just my opinion on this. I'm not fond of the idea that we're going to use mental health issues as whether somebody can have a gun or not. Now, I'm not saying I want crazies to have a gun, but the definition of crazy, it's kind of like this hate speech thing, this hate act. How do you know? It's not as defined as it should be. If you've ever read the DSM, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, which is how they diagnose people with mental issues, it's very open to interpretation, okay? It is not something where, like, when you take a blood test and you have a certain illness, it comes back and no matter how many people took that blood test, the results would be exactly the same. Well, that's not what happens with the DSM, okay? It's very open to interpretation and to the bias of the person who is interpreting it. So, just had to say that. I've done a lot of study in that area, and it bothers me. I've read a lot of the different portions of it. Some of the things in there could be applied to anybody. If they really wanted to diagnose someone or to claim someone was mentally ill, it's kind of scary, really, when you get into it. But anyway, so that's something that I think is, I do understand the problem that some people are not mentally right and that they should not have guns, but there's got to be some restrictions, okay? Because it could be used, the DSM could be weaponized against people who hold politically different beliefs, because you know that a lot of liberals think conservatives are mentally ill. And I've had a friend who told me that I was, because I actually read government documents and I know what's going on behind the scenes. And I happen to notice when there's all these arrests going on, and she thought that was kind of weird. And she actually did tell me I need to seek help. So, yeah, it can be used against people in a very bad way. Anyway, number 4. Fox is told that a ban on high-capacity magazines is ready to go, but they need to do some internal issues with the Democratic caucus. Fox is told that House Democrats are not ready to advance an assault weapons ban. Well, that's what they're going to go after. I knew that as the minute I heard it, but there's just, that's what they do. It was almost as if it was scripted. And then we go on to the next one. An assault weapons ban was the law of the land for a decade. Assault weapons were banned as a part of the 1994 crime bill, but it expired without a renewal. I would need to know how they're defining assault weapons. Because, a lot of people that I know don't know much about guns, and they decide whether something is an assault weapon purely from looking at it. And that's just not a reliable way of doing that. So anyway, next one. Multiple sources tell Fox it may be a challenge for Pelosi to not recall the House at some point this month, considering the Democrats' rhetoric on guns. Moreover, such a move could increase pressure on Senate Republicans. Well, it's going to be interesting what's happening. So, House Democrats repeatedly described the GOP Senate as a legislative graveyard and are critical of McConnell. That's because he's not letting their really insane stuff go through. So he's kind of like a stopgap for us. It may be impossible for Dems not to recall members this month, if nothing else, to appear as though they are addressing guns and McConnell and Senate Republicans are not. Yeah, I can see him doing that. And so then he goes on and says Pelosi McConnell could recall their respective bodies at their own discretion. Yes, they can call back their people and do some actual work. Wouldn't that be nice? And when I say that, it means like Pelosi could call back the House. And so it would be all the House, not just Democrats, but all the House. And McConnell could call the Senate. So they can call them back. Now, what they're doing right now in August, this is a time for them to come back and actually get with their constituents and to reconnect with the people. And that's one of the major reasons why we have that, so that if they're going to go to Washington, they have to live there, and they really do need to have some connection with the people they're representing, right? So that's what it's for, but that doesn't mean they can't be called back. So that said, Dems aren't necessarily ready to go yet. They have to develop a legislative strategy behind such a hypothetical session on guns, and perhaps more importantly, make sure they have the votes. Yeah, they're not going to get it. Well, they're not going to get our votes. I know that. But check this one out. I thought this was really interesting. Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution says the president may, on extraordinary occasions, convene both houses, or either of them. No chief executive has deployed this gambit since President Harry Truman. Very interesting. And as of now, I'm doing this in the evening on Sunday, so it could very well be that Monday morning Trump is going to speak to the people about the gun thing, and so who knows what he's going to say. It's going to be interesting. And then Fox is told that President Trump and Speaker Pelosi have not spoken about this weekend's shootings. Well, it's like, why would they? So, yeah, anyway, it was just an interesting thread. So I'll put the link down below to some of these, because the thing is, if you go to his account, you have to scroll. He did them individually because you can put them together in like one series of posts and one thread, and he didn't do that. So it's like 10 individual posts. So I don't think I'm going to put the links to all of those, but I'll put the links to especially this one. The Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution says the president may, on extraordinary occasions, convene both houses or either of them. I just think that's interesting. I'm not sure why he included it there, but, he was talking about convening it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And so, like I said, this one's kind of a shorty because I spent my day doing something else. So this is my website. If you haven't gone there, it's just Truthificationchronicles.com. And if you go to my blog, I did 2 blog posts today. Yeah, I was busy. So I did a little bit of writing instead of actually reading that I needed to do to get the last video up for, the Louis Gohmert series. And so I have a blog here, and I haven't been keeping it up very well. So there's just so much to do. I'm trying to get everything on a schedule, but it's not happening yet. Life seems to intervene a lot. But anyway, if you click on the blog, then it'll take you here. And I came across these questions to ask. And then I'm being very vague for a reason. And you'll understand why when you read this. And then the second one is the difference between these two things. And again, you'll understand when you read this. why I'm being so vague. Anyway, so I think this is a really good article that you can go through, and here's a video that is really good to watch if you've got time. It's about 45 minutes long, I think. Really good. But those are the two new posts that I put in because I think they are important and they're kind of current right now, and I'm going to be adding more as I glean things from the researchers. So I wanted to show you that, and then I also wanted to show you under videos, I did a page for the Gohmert series, so you can come here and you can see them all. There will be 8 of them. This one right here is just a placeholder right now because I don't have that one done. And I will get it up sometime Monday. I said Monday morning, but it's going to be Monday sometime. I don't know when. But you can watch them here, or you can, click on them and then go to the YouTube. This is a link right here to the playlist. So if you click there, you can see the whole playlist. But I wanted to show that to you so you can come here and check them out. And, the blog, I think those 2 articles might be something that you can share with other people that might help to open their eyes. I am working on a BitChute account. I just have to get some things in line first. And so I am working on it. It's not that I'm not, but it just takes time to put everything together, and life has, like I said, intervened. And for those of you who watched the one video where I told you at the end about the friend of mine who was killed a week ago. So yeah, it's just been a tough week. And of course, with everything that's going on this weekend, it's been even tougher. So I've spent a little bit of time on the boards, and there's some stuff about that I'm going to be putting in my blog because I don't feel comfortable doing videos about it, because I know they won't be very, what should I say, advertiser friendly. So I will put them on here. I'll just put the blog in, and so you'll be able to read stuff there and find out what's going on. I also have one that concerns the last couple of sections of the Louis Gohmert stuff. So, I was very careful how I chose my words, and so I will put a little bit more there to clarify my stance, because yeah, I do know more about it, and I knew more than I was really saying. And like I said, I chose my words very carefully when I was talking about that particular religious organization. So anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. Again, sorry that it's so short, but I just couldn't get all the stuff read that I had to read to finish up this last one. And this will be the last one for it. It's the last 10 pages, I think, of the document. So we should be able to hit both of those. A lot of it's more newer stuff and things that you probably will know. So it's not so much research, but there is research involved on my end. So, but I'll get that done sometime on Monday and hopefully get it uploaded at a decent time. So that's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.